Hey everyone, welcome to my channel. I'm Fat Lad Ad. My name's just Ad, but for the sake of the channel, it's Fat Lad Ad. Um, I just wanted to record a bit of an introduction to put on the channel before some of the more regular videos start going up, so you can see what I'm about. So basically, I'm essentially trying to lose weight and get fit, ready for next summer. I want to do I want to go on holiday. I want to do lots of activities. I want to make the most of life now that, or hopefully, fingers crossed, life is starting to get back to normal. Um, basically, I've always been heavy. I've always been overweight. As basically since I went to university, where most people, uh, get into sports and all that kind of stuff. Whereas I went to university and did pretty much no sport after doing loads at school, um, and put on, several stone. I'd basically been, since my 20s, I'd been around sort of 16, 17 stone, a bit of ups and downs in terms of my weight. But in the last couple of years, obviously with lockdown and things like that, I wasn't one of these people who took it upon themselves to change everything during lockdown in terms of their fitness and things like that. I actually did the opposite. I had a pretty bad time to start with in lockdown. I lost my job. Basically, lost my job. I had spent a lot of time looking for a new job, working hard to get a new job, which I did. And then once I got a new job, I had to spend a lot of time, I had to work really hard. And I still am working hard, but I had to work really hard because everybody was working from home. So I didn't, I had to impress without actually seeing anybody other than over the Zoom and all that kind of stuff. It means I've got a nice webcam, I guess. But so I basically got up to the best part of, well, almost 20 stone during lockdown. I've lost a little bit since then, but I'm now still around sort of 19 stone. I weighed myself on Friday last week, which is basically when I started this whole endeavour, and I was 19 stone 1 pound. I'm a little bit less than that now, but it's only been a few days. So basically, I'm currently in week naught. The actual vlogging of my weight loss starts properly on Monday, which is tomorrow. It's Sunday evening now. I'm recording this introduction after already filming several pieces of footage and several outings, doing some exercise. But I realised I needed some kind of introduction before I started putting that stuff up, um, which is what this is. So as I said, I'm about 19 stone now. I'm starting to get health problems that I haven't had before due to my weight, which I won't go into too much detail because then some of them aren't particularly pleasant. Maybe I'll go into them as hopefully the weight loss helps and stops them occurring. But also because of lockdown easing and being able to start going places again, we've been out. My wife and I have been out on a couple of days out and started seeing people again, and you know, people have commented about my weight and just things are not as comfortable as they used to be. Like I went to Edgbaston to watch some cricket a couple of weeks ago, and we were lucky that there was nobody sat next to me on my seat. But had there been, I don't think I would have been able to sit there for very long because I take up a lot of space, and you know we're hoping to go on holiday next year. My wife was lucky enough to win a nice holiday voucher from her work, so we've got quite a lot of money to spend on a holiday next year. So we're going to maybe go on a long haul flight, and I do not want to be this size sat on an aeroplane for you know 10, 12 hours, something like that. And just generally, I want to get out there. I want to do things. I want to. We've just moved to Shrewsbury. I say just before lockdown, we moved to Shrewsbury, so we haven't really seen much of Shrewsbury. We live right by the river. I've got a kayak, which I'm too big for at the moment. I want to get in it. I want to be out on the river every time. It's nice. I love that stuff, but I'm just too big for it. I also used to love cycling back in sort of 2014. Well, back in 2012 when the Olympics happened, I was still quite big. I was sort of 18 stone back then, and the biggest at that point, the biggest I'd ever been. And London 2012 happened, and I was really inspired, as many people were, about by the athletes in 2012, and I wanted to do something to sort myself out. So um, I started cycling. I took up cycling in 2012. Started with just commuting to work, which at that time was a sort of 6 mile each way cycle. I did that 2 or 3 times a week on average. In nice weeks I did it every day. In not so nice weeks I sometimes didn't do it at all, but probably averaged out to be 2 to 3 days a week. Um, Fairly quickly I started wanting to do longer distances, so I would go out on a Saturday morning and do sort of 10, 15 miles, and eventually it got to 15 to 30 to 35 miles. And then doing that sort of distance on my own was a struggle, just because it was not only was it was I wouldn't say it was dull, but I didn't know where to go, so I was always doing the same route, just because I knew it, and I wanted to basically go further afield. And the way to do that, I thought, was in a group, which it was. So I joined a cycle club, and I ended up doing really long rides. Within a few weeks, I was doing 100k rides, and I've done a couple of 100 mile plus rides in my time as well, which don't necessarily want to get back there, but I would really like to be able to do sort of easily 30 miles on my own, and then maybe look to join a cycling club, or even start my own cycling club if this channel takes off. You never know, but um, but that's where I want to do. So my target really is. I know it's still summer. It's still at the end of August, really. So to say that I'm going to work hard over the winter for next summer is kind of a bit silly, because there's still quite a bit of this summer left. But it's easier for me to be motivated when the weather's nice. So I figured, if I can start now while it is nice, so that I know what I'm going to be missing next year if I don't get myself sorted, it'll hopefully give me the momentum to keep going over the summer. So if, in a couple of months' time I've lost a stone, or even less, if it means that motivation will hopefully keep me going through the winter months when motivation is a struggle. So that's where I'm at. Anyway, I think that's probably enough of me rabbiting on. I guess there's one thing I want to say is, why now? Well, I've touched on it a little bit, the fact that lockdown is, or rather the pandemic, is still around, but things are starting to open up again, and events are still on. But the other thing is, a couple of months ago I had a pretty sobering health care. It turned out to be nothing. Basically, I found a lump where a lump shouldn't be, and it was pretty scary at times. But thankfully, it turned out to be nothing. But all that time, it made me face my own sort of mortality a little bit, and I was pretty miserable. Which is not surprising really, when you're sort of faced with what could be pretty nasty consequences. But as I say, it turned out to be nothing to worry about. Something that should hopefully go away on its own. But it's probably something that maybe it wouldn't have happened if I wasn't heavy, and B, if I wasn't heavy, it was probably something I would have found earlier, and would have known earlier that it was nothing. But it's still. And I always said to my wife that, when this was happening, I said, if this turns out to be nothing, and I come out of this unscathed, this is it. This is the kick up the backside that I need to get myself sorted, and stop being so fat. Look, I'm never going to be stick thin, but if I can get down to something like 14, 15 stone over the next sort of 12 to 18 months, then that would be fantastic. As I say, I'm about sort of 19 stone now. So I think that's possibly achievable over 18 months, certainly, to get down to sort of 14, 15 stone. I have lost weight in the past quite quickly, which, sometimes good, sometimes bad. But hopefully this time I can lose it and keep it off. Anyway, please join me if you can. Please watch the videos. obviously you don't have to watch every single minute of them, but if you do watch them, give them a like if you like them. If you don't, give them a dislike. That's fine. I just ask if you dislike them to tell me why, so I can improve for next time. Um, I'll see you out there. Hopefully, in a few months' time, we can look back at this and laugh at how pathetic I was, and how much of a better person I will be in a few months' time. Thanks for watching. I'm Fat Lad Ad, or just Ad. I'd be really pleased to have you follow along in my journey. Comment on my videos, tell me what I'm doing wrong, tell me, tell me if I'm doing well. That would be great. But tell me what I'm doing wrong. I'll try and reply to every comment that warrants a reply. The first few videos, maybe even more. I'm not the most natural in front of the camera, so it's going to take me a little bit getting used to. For example, I was out running on Saturday and talking to the camera, and I turned around the corner and there was people there, and I panicked because I didn't want people to see me doing that, and it's going to take a little bit of getting used to. Because when I see other people doing it, I always think, oh, what a bit of